All right, so you heard us talk about Buddy yesterday. We wished him happy birthday. Happy 71st birthday. Guys, can I get a shout out? Happy birthday to Buddy today.
One of those damn 70-year-old realtors Greg talks about.
Buddy has a unique situation as far as I love it because he ignores the norms. He writes frequently to me just to give me updates, and he knows, like, you don't need to answer me back and then answer me on this, but he likes to just know that there's accountability and he's showing that it's getting done. He also operates his whole business with an iPad. He hates computers. He doesn't want to learn them. We made him buy one a few years ago because of Famous Agent, which he later gave to his grandson and said, the heck with it. I don't want it. I will figure it out a different way. But Buddy, there's a lot of competitors in his area and they only have one focus. So I like to talk about the fact that he ignores the norms and that's not his focus, which is the normal condos, and you're going to talk about that. And I also call him the perfect home finder master, and you'll see why we say that in a minute. But just go ahead and speak to your area and what the norm is. Like you said, the typical agent always does this, and I hate it, so I do that.
Most agents in our area just sit on their ass and wait for a deal to fall in their lap. And I'm not that agent. I'm very aggressive. I'm not overly aggressive, but I put out more effort than most people. And the biggest problem that I see is, and I can only speak for my area, Panama City Beach. And that's the only area that I've ever worked in, the Panhandle of Florida. Is, most agents don't want to spend any money. They want to make money, but I don't call it spending money. I call it investing money because I'm gonna get something back. I mean, I may spend $10,000 before I get the listing I want or the sale that I want, and I'm the high dollar. I want the higher the dollar, the better. The biggest sale I ever had was, and I should have learned this way back, was right before the crash. I had a $20 million sale. I had both sides. It was an off-market property.
Whoa.
And I earned $1 million commission, and I did that by asking. I knew the fellow that owned the property, and the buyer knew him too. And it involved some country and western stars, but anyway, they just asked me. The guy told me, he said, I want $20 million net to me. I don't care what you make. So I thought, there's no way I'm gonna make $1 million if I don't ask. So I asked, and the answer was immediately yes. And I wonder to this day if I didn't leave down money on the table.
And that's a fair question. And it's funny you say that because a lot of you have probably heard me say this, and I have said this to my kids, which they now use this against me, which is not so much fun. But it is always a no unless you ask. In any case of life, it's always a no unless you ask. So you have to ask. You don't want, because now he's kicking himself like, did I leave too much? Whatever. But at least you asked for the $1 million, right? But it's definitely always a no. You're not going to get to it if you don't open your mouth. So yes, my kids use that against. They're like, remember that time? It's always a no unless you ask, Mom. I'm like, yes, I know. That's brilliant. But it is true, and you all have to be aware of that because he asked for the listing, he asked for the commission he wanted, and it moved it along the process.
And because my technology skills are probably the least of anybody in this room. So fortunately, I have there's a lady, you with me, huh? Well, I have a grandson and his wife, and they're both real techie. And so in the last, 3-4 months, I kind of brought them, they have full-time jobs, but they're handling all my technology stuff. So that's the reason I was able to do the YouTube. I knew what YouTube was. I watched stuff on there all the time, but I didn't know how to use it. It's my very favorite thing I've ever done. You probably can't tell it by what you saw yesterday, but I'll get better. The fear is not there. I'm just a country boy, a redneck country boy that fortunately they know how to speed it up, and they can speed up my talking. It doesn't sound so bad, but they, when they do their editing and all, it really changes it. And until then, I was doing everything I was a direct mail, because anybody can do that. You know, you can order postcards or put stamps on. But then right after I joined, I've been a member about 2.5 years. I joined and I was using the Luther letter. I was going to do 500 that day between my wife and I, and hand address all of them. And I did. I personally signed all of them. And the next thing that happened was that I realized, oh hell, I don't have but 20 stamps. So I took the 20 with me and went to the post office and bought more stamps. So those 20 got in the mail that day. The next day I got 2 phone calls and I got 2 listings. I sold one of the 2. I made $82,000 off of those 20 letters. And I know it was those 20 because the rest of them didn't go out for 3 or 4 more days. And I already had those under contract before then. So, I mean, that was, and I'm like, that'll pay Greg for a while. I know he'll come up with something that, you know, we're going to pay him our money, but the return on your investment is a lot more than what you'll ever pay Greg.
So, buddy, I just put that on the screen because that's the story you just shared.
Perfect.
I thought you had told me 50 letters and you needed more stamps. So,
no, it's just.
was it 50 or 20?
It's 20. It's 20.
Either way, it's really good money in the 2.
Yeah.
But this was a quote that he specifically said, "The perfect home finder letter," which is the Greg Luther letter, "has earned me more money than any marketing. I mail it in that special envelope." I bypassed that because when he was telling the story, so I'm going to go, we'll talk about the envelope in a minute. But to recap, his first mailing, he sent out the 50, and then he got the 2 deals, and it was $82,000 because of that perfect home finder letter. And he shows up differently because he puts things in these special envelopes. He takes the extra money and buys what we call the urgent envelope. And where do you purchase these, buddy?
I buy them online. I don't even know the name of the company.
Envelopes.com.
Okay.
Yep.
And they're worth every penny of it. I mean, you know, that's kind of I try not to go against anything that Greg says. Like if he says, do this, don't change a word, do this, don't change a thing. But I'm like, one thing I like about this envelope, I fold my letter in half. I don't have to fold it twice.
Yeah.
Second thing is, I just wish I had a way to know how many people opened it, because I just think I know that if I got that in the mail, I'd open it.
I have a basement full of these envelopes, but they said priority, and they let us use those priority envelopes for a long time, but that's an actual term that USPS uses. They have priority mail, so they actually barred those envelopes. I've probably got 1,200 of them in my basement. I need to just burn them because you'll never be able to use them. But I was buying them for years and years. For almost a decade, we were using those. That company had to redo these to use terms that make it look really important. But it's just a plain old envelope.
Yeah.
You know, and it just makes it look really, really important. It actually says extremely important. Rush to the addressee, which in mailman terms is about 3 weeks. They'll get it over to you. And it's got like some kind of crazy scanning barcode stuff that doesn't even mean anything at all. It just looks like tracking on there. You can get them from various places. Envelopes.com is probably the most expensive just because they got a good domain name and that's where everybody goes. But you can search and find them otherwise. But those do definitely work well. You will have a 100% open rate.
Yeah, that's what I think. And if you use just a regular letter, and you know the regular whatever the weight of regular paper is, you know, Nicole knows that it costs you the same postage, same amount to mail it. You won't spend the extra penny. But now, like I mail I use the life changes, and I use that in a postcard, and I use it in a brochure. Now, when I use it in the brochure, it costs a hell of a lot more money to mail it. I don't worry about what anything costs. I worry about what is my return on it. I don't care what it costs. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, Greg Luther Inner Circle, $477 sounds like a lot of money, but when you make $82,000 off the first thing you do for him, I was like, why didn't I start this the day Greg started offering it? You know, so, but that's the way I look at things. And I do postcards.
So these are the Life Changes postcard is on the right, and then he also turned it into a flyer version.
Yeah,
So this is a version of the text that we have in our templates. He just kind of rearranged it to turn it into a flyer. And then we also have the letter, which is the Life Changes letter, on the members' website as well.
Yeah.
So that letter would be a good trial to do in the fancy envelope, and you do get that higher open rate. Because if you receive that envelope, you know that you're opening it.
Yeah.
It looks very important.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like Greg, I think it's 100% open ratio. I love the date the rate, marry the house, because I just think that right now that's holding a lot of people back. And I'm using that postcard more now than the other postcard. And so I'm really using it more and more. The 750, that was a house that I listed both sides. Got about, I've only had 4 closings this year, $2 million each, and 2 of them had both sides. So I have had as high as 76 closings in 1 year, but I've already made a hell of a lot more money off of these 4 closings than I made off those.
And that goes back to that quality versus quantity.
Yeah, that's what I like. And,
You guys liking this stuff?
Yeah.
Very good, huh? Kind of see the inner workings of what they're doing here.
And then just some of his other marketing I wanted to showcase, just like we did with Ben. So Buddy posts 2 articles a week from Florida Realtors, posts 2 articles a week from CNBC.com, and that's something that Greg talked about. We did this on a coaching call, that go to trusted sources, find articles, and repost them. And yes, give proper credit to that source, but you're the one now sharing it, so you're the trust, credibility, and authority. They're receiving it from you, and it's valid news and media. So he posts 2 from the one section from Florida Realtors, and then 2 from CNBC.
CNBC is not politically biased. You can't do Fox News or CNN because you're going to piss off 49 or 51% of the world. So if you use CNBC, it's mostly financial, and you go to the top, you click on business, and then you scroll down to real estate. And then real estate can be separated by real estate, new construction, mortgage, all of that. And you'll see all the new articles posted today. Just use one of those from a credible source.
And then some days there's stuff you don't want to post.
Yeah.
So you just
Wait a day.
go somewhere else. You go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then he has his new YouTube channel. So he started that channel because after he did the video marketing for closings and then wanted to do the content creators, as he mentioned, he had some of his family get him situated with that. They're also working to help teach him and get him going with more QR codes. And this was another quote that I got from him in the email. He said, "Now that I have all of that, as long as I'm growing my business, I'll never stop using Luther's marketing strategies to stay on top. The word obscure has never and will never be used to describe me." And I think that's powerful for everybody.
Hey, it's Greg Luther, and listen, if you don't follow this channel, there's a good chance you're never going to see me again. I consistently put out regular content, and it's extremely helpful for real estate agents to grow their business. I want to keep you up to date on what's working so that you're in the know and you can take action accordingly. So be sure that you like and comment here, but most importantly, make sure you follow, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on anything. I'm here to help you in growing your business, and I'd love to do so. Follow right now.